Have you ever walked through a place so abandoned, so lifeless, that it feels like the ghosts of the past are still watching? Across the world, there are places where time has stopped, towns swallowed by nature, hospitals where patients never left, and islands so cursed that no one dares to return. These are the locations that history forgot, but their eerie silence tells stories louder than words. Some were abandoned overnight. Others hold dark secrets buried beneath their crumbling walls. But one thing is certain, by the end of this video you'll think twice before ever setting foot in them. At number 7 on our countdown, we set sail off the coast of Japan, where an island once packed with thousands of people now sits in eerie silence. A place where massive concrete towers crumble into dust, where staircases lead to nowhere, and where the only voices left are the howling winds and crashing waves. This is Hashima Island, also known as Gunkanjima, or Battleship Island, a name given to it because its towering structures and long seawalls made it resemble a warship lurking in the water. Today, it's nothing more than a ghost town in the middle of the sea. But it wasn't always this way. In the late 1800s, Hashima was a hub of industry, sitting on top of rich coal deposits that Japan desperately needed for its growing empire. In 1890, Mitsubishi took over the island, transforming it into a massive mining facility. What started as a small outpost quickly evolved into one of the most densely populated places on Earth. By the 1950s, Hashima held over 5,200 residents, all crammed onto a tiny 16-acre strip of land. To fit so many people, the island was built vertically, apartment towers stacked on top of each other, narrow alleyways winding through the concrete jungle, and entire neighborhoods suspended above the sea. There were schools, restaurants, bars, temples, and even a cinema, a full-fledged city in the middle of the ocean. But Hashima had a darker side, one that most history books try to forget. During World War II, Hashima became a site of forced labor where hundreds of Korean and Chinese prisoners were sent to work in the mines under brutal, inhumane conditions. They spent hours deep underground, suffocating in the stifling heat, their lungs filled with coal dust, their bodies weakened by starvation and exhaustion. Escape was impossible. Hashima was surrounded by treacherous waters, its towering seawalls ensuring that even if someone managed to slip away, the waves would drag them to their deaths. Many never left the island alive, their bodies lost beneath the tunnels. But Hashima's fate was sealed not by war but by progress. By the 1970s, Japan had moved away from coal, shifting to oil as its primary energy source. The once booming mine was now worthless. Without warning, Mitsubishi shut down operations. The workers were given no time to adjust. One by one, families packed up and fled. Within a few weeks, Hashima was completely abandoned. The buildings, once filled with the laughter of children, the bustling noise of a thriving city, became nothing more than hollowed-out husks, battered by the relentless sea winds. Apartments were left intact, dishes still on tables, furniture untouched, as if the residents had vanished into thin air. For over 40 years, Hashima sat untouched, a rotting monument to Japan's past. The sea claimed the edges, walls cracked and crumbled, entire floors collapsed into dust. It was a place of silence, decay, and something else. Some say Hashima is not completely empty. Visitors describe an unshakable sense of unease, as if the island itself is watching them. Some claim to have seen shadowy figures standing in the broken windows, only for them to disappear the moment they blink. Others hear footsteps echoing down the empty hallways or voices whispering in the tunnels, despite being the only ones there. There are stories of ghostly apparitions appearing in photographs, of tour guides who refuse to step inside certain buildings, and of an eerie sensation, like unseen hands reaching out from the darkness. Many believe that the souls of those who suffered here never left, that the pain, the fear, the desperation is woven into the island itself, forever trapped within the crumbling ruins. Although some sections of Hashima have been opened for tourists, large portions remain off-limits, too dangerous to explore. Buildings are one strong gust away from collapse, and the tunnels below, where so many men once labored and died, are completely sealed, their secrets buried beneath layers of rock and time. Yet even from a distance, Hashima feels like a place that refuses to fade away.